Good morning. How are you all today? If you haven't had all of your coffee, go grab your next one and have it with me. And let's talk about the opportunities that I think are coming in the near future. You know, everybody's talking about, and rightfully so, the uh, the coming challenges. And I think there are going to be a lot of challenges, but in every challenging situation are a great number of opportunities that most people miss because they have their eyes on what's going wrong instead of what could be going right. And opportunities to go into those situations with solutions for people. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today because I think that both hard times and opportunities are coming. And a lot of you already know this, but and some of you will be able to share your experiences to help other people who maybe haven't had those experiences in the past. And then we all help each other in that way. I was checking some things, checking my emails and things like that this morning, and I had played something on YouTube, and then it rolled over to something else, and it's somebody that I've never watched. I won't go into it because I don't know his background. I listened to some things that he said. It was a financial guy, I just say that much. And yeah, I get it. Some of the stuff that he said, I agree with, and other stuff not so much. But that's not the point. He mentioned something about Johnny Morris, who is the founder, if you're not aware of him, founder of Bass Pro. And I'm a big fan of Johnny Morris. And if you've been with me for a while, you know that. Johnny Morris's story is an unbelievable story. I just started learning about him after years and years and years ago. Kelly and I started going down to Big Cedar Resort on Table Rock Lake in southern Missouri. And it is I'm not sure if it's ranked the number one resort in the country. It doesn't matter. I mean, it is to me. It is the most amazing place. And we go down there as often as we can. Everything they do is first rate. I tell people that the if you call them at 2 o'clock in the morning and you tell them, I've run out of hot cocoa mix. In 5 minutes, there's going to be two people at your door smiling with a basket of hot cocoa mix and asking if you need anything else. I mean, it is that. And I've posted some of our stays down there, I think, here on the Patreon channel. And we're headed down there again here pretty soon. Well, it's a development by Johnny Morris. Uh, he developed that, Top of the Rock. He's the one who started Bass Pro. Uh, and then bought Cabela's. I would call it an empire, is unbelievable. Um, I got interested in Johnny, and I've talked to a lot of people that know him. I don't know him. I've never met him. I'd love to meet him. He's a big fisherman. I'm not a fisherman, so we'd have to talk about other things. But uh, he started that business on a back shelf or a card table or something in his dad's liquor store, Brown Derby Liquor Store in Springfield, Missouri, and selling uh, fishing lures that he made himself, handmade himself. And from that, he built this empire, of Bass Pro and buying Cabela's and many other things. I mean, just down around Table Rock, he's got the Big Cedar and Top of the Rock and their shooting academy and what a Dogwood Canyon, all sorts of things. And he has other places all across the country. He's probably the most interesting guy that most people have never heard of. Well, this guy who was talking about this today said that he referred to Johnny Morris a couple of times and saying, well, Morris says that Bass Pro is going to focus on affordability because he made the statement that inflation is here and it's real. Well, I says, well, yeah, okay. When you're a multi-billionaire, you probably don't see inflation the same way that more normal people do. And so I double checked that, and yeah, I found a couple of articles where he had said that. Well, this led me around to things that I've noticed, for instance. and things that I noticed through our own businesses, and this is going to lead up to the opportunities. Over the last several years, I've seen changes down whenever we go down to Big Cedar and Top of the Rock, and I see that they have been cutting out small things. So many small. They've changed a lot of small things that only people who have gone there for a long time would notice. Okay. For instance, their their little shampoos and conditioners and body wash and everything like that. That you get. You go into a hotel and you get all this stuff. Well, theirs has always been. I mean, ultra nice glass bottles and everything like that. I noticed several years ago they went to plastic bottles, and I said, how about that? I don't like that as much, but I'm sure they're saving a bundle. It used to be that when you'd go in, when you'd check in, and each morning after that, after you got back and they remade your room and cleaned everything, there would always be little cedar tree cookies on your pillows, and that stopped a couple of years ago. And I said, well, I mean, no big deal, but it was just always so nice. When it's just one of those things that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. Here we are at Big Cedar. Here's my little cedar cookie on my pillow. It was one part of the experience, And so I noticed that didn't happen. It used to be that whenever we'd go down there, they always ask, is there any kind of special event? Because we always rent family cabins on the lake, and is there any special event that is around here? And we'd always say, well, it's a birthday or it's a this or that. And when we'd go into the cabin, there's always just a really nice basket of welcome snacks and stuff. And then there would be a box with a card on top to whoever it was in the family that had something special going on, and you'd open the card, have a happy birthday, Brody or Morgan or Aiden or Kelly or whatever. And then you'd open the box and there'd be a cake in there, a little cake in there, with a hand decorated happy birthday whoever, right? And I noticed that they still had the cakes, but they weren't as good as they used to be, and they might just say happy birthday, but nobody's name on it. I said, okay, we're seeing a lot of little changes here. And I wondered what the reason was. And then when we go to the restaurants, we notice that when you go to the gift shop, now things have exploded in price and many things, but when you go to sweatshirts and things like that, the prices were holding fairly well for the things that a lot of people that they knew that the people who were on a budget, were shopping for. Those things kind of stayed down. But when you went to their restaurant, one of our favorite restaurants was the Osage room, Top of the Rock. And man, I mean, their prices just exploded. So what they were doing was they were seeing that the people, maybe on lower economic levels, who were watching their pennies, who wanted to go do something nice, but were watching their pennies, they were keeping those prices down, but they were raising the prices on the levels of the people that didn't care. But, okay, whatever, we're going to spend whatever it takes. That's an indication of what's going on in the economy, and I'm going to talk about in a minute why that's an opportunity. We saw the same thing happen. Well, let me add one more thing before I go back to that. So where Morris says, well, inflation is 3.4% as opposed to the 2% target that they had, which is, more than they wanted, but it's still less than the 9% that whatever it was, a year or two ago, something like that. So things are getting better. Well, that's BS, and you all know that. This idea, inflation has been caused by all the funny money that they've put into the markets. They are still maintaining, falsely maintaining this economy to the extent that they can by pumping more. Started with quantitative easing and then all of the stimulus checks and everything like that. Hang on half a second. Okay, I had to make my neighbor was waving at me. had to put on my greeters to make sure that I hit the button again. Um, well, you know that inflation is a lot higher than that. I mean, when I go to Aldi, I see things that many of the things that I buy have gone up over 100%, and some cases almost 200% in the last several years. And so, I mean, and the reason that they're hiding that is because they don't figure food and fuel into the inflation figures. Isn't that something? The two things that are the primary drivers of, how it hurts people, they won't, they don't include, most people don't care how much a rain jacket has gone up or anything like that. So we know that we're dealing with inflation that in many cases is well over 100% over the last about 4 years, something like that. Okay, now let's go back to we saw this Harry Dent. If you're familiar with who Harry Dent is, when you get into talking about financial guys, I mean people are all over the board on things. And I'm not going to either promote or detract, either defend or detract from anybody. Take it for whatever you want, because I can make an argument on any side. I have a cousin who's a professor of economics at a major university, and she said that one of her favorite economist quotes was Harry Truman, that said he wished he could find a one-handed economist, because every economist that he talks to says, so something, here's this and that and this and that, and then, but on the other hand, so you can always find that. Well, he has been forecasting he says we're in a bubble, and we are. I mean, we're in a 10, 12, 14-year bubble, and bubbles can't be sustained. I mean, that's the nature of a bubble, right? Uh, and he's been expecting a crash for some time. So have I. I mean, I don't know if I've been expecting a crash as much as a correction, a fairly drastic correction. Um, but who knows? I'm not going to argue that point. We will see what we see, right? And anybody who comes on, and I see the comments, it's like other things in preparedness. People will occasionally come on and say, well, this and this and this and this. And if you don't know that, well, nobody knows. Nobody knows, because there's more moving parts in these things than most people realize. If you own a business, you're far more attuned to what's going on than those who don't own a business, because they don't really see the inner workings of the economy as it applies to businesses, which is what drives the economy. Back so he says he's been expecting a crash. He's expecting the Nasdaq and the Dow to fall like anywhere to 80 to 90%. I don't know. I took everything out of the markets. So, but it doesn't matter, because if that crashes, we're going into a depression, and anybody who's not prepared for that, whether or not they're in the market at all. Of course, if they're in the market, they're losing most of their money, at least the money that's in the market. If you're not, then you don't lose it. I mean, it's just like the real estate crash. When we during the crash of 2008, we owned Kelly and I owned a tanning salon, which at the time we had other businesses, but it was something she'd always wanted, a tanning salon, and I said, well, okay, let's put one in. There was a section of a fairly affluent suburb out here, and a new development, and it looked like a good place. I didn't know anything about it, but hey, if there's a business that you can open and it looks like it's a good investment, you do it, right? So I think we went in there at 2005 or 6 or something like that. Put in the salon. It was a great business, unbelievable business, and it was on the very edge of the developed residential neighborhoods of this quickly expanding and affluent area of this suburb. And we had talked to the real estate people and all that, and they showed us that there were another 4,000 homes platted to be built just south of there. and this area was already booming. So it had all of the signs that this was just going to be a gold mine, right? Well, it was for a couple of years. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Starting in probably January, we started filling up with people getting ready for their spring break cruises. Okay, and then it was 4 or 5 months was just slammed. We had 3 hour waiting periods for people to get into a tanning bed for 10, 15 minutes. And that's all it took because we had very, very nice tanning beds. And I mean, they were paying to let you all know. This will surprise those of you who have never gone to these places, which is probably most of you, right? I never had, never have since, right? And I think all the whole time I owned it, we owned it. I think I laid in a tanning bed a couple of times just to see what it was like. You know, it was kind of cool. It was very relaxing, you know, but it's not something that I would do otherwise. But it was definitely for those people with, you know, extra money to spend. And they would buy these bottles of tanning lotion, and we had whole shelves and racks of these beautiful bottles of tanning lotion, uh, and they were, I mean, some of our biggest sellers were like the 80, 90, $100 range for a bottle, an 8 ounce bottle. I mean, it was just amazing, right? So it was a golden goose for a couple of years, and like I said, we had waiting times of 3 hours of people getting in there. Well, after a couple of years, and then then the rest of the year, it would slow down, but still enough. You know, you're paying your bills and you made all your money already for the year, kind of like farming, right? Uh, and after a couple of years, we saw that not as many people were coming in for their pre-cruise tans. And we thought, what's going on with this? But we had other businesses. It hadn't affected those businesses, the downturn of the economy, and then we started seeing that real estate um, problem of 2008, and it started hitting. Construction stopped immediately on all of those houses that were supposed to be built. I mean, some of the houses stopped being built halfway through their construction. You know, instead of crews all over the place, you know, building houses, there was a bunch of vacant foundations, a bunch of wood skeletons of halfway finished houses, nobody working on them, and it started hitting hard. And it first, like the old saying, slowly at first and then all at once. That's what happened. We started seeing it coming slow, and then all of a sudden, and we knew it was time to get out. And we were fortunate; we were able to sell the business. Now we were smarter than the person who bought it. They were somebody that just always wanted to have a tanning salon. We knew that the time was past. Actually, Kelly wants to have another one someday. It was, you can't believe the money involved in that. But anyway, so we got out. Now, if what Dent and others are projecting as a collapse, even greater than the collapse of 2008, a lot of people are going to be in bad trouble. Bad trouble. Um, I've already seen more houses for sale around here. None in my immediate area are. These houses never go up for sale. Uh, as a matter of fact, I can't remember the last time somebody put a for sale. People, there's usually a waiting list in my area, and this goes back to making sure. Be careful where you buy real estate because you need to have an understanding of appreciation. And even during that time, remember when so many houses in the hot areas like California and Nevada and all that, they were all of a sudden a crash, and so many people found themselves underwater. A helicopter. Wonder if my new mic is picking that up. I'm sure it is because I had a lot of background noise the other day. Um, and so people, in these hot spots that have inflated quite a bit, all of a sudden find themselves underwater with their houses, and they just abandon their houses, and that floods the market with abandoned houses, and which further depresses the pricing on other houses, and it's just a snowball. That hasn't happened. We're in a very stable area, and like I started to say, usually people around here, there will be people wanting to move into my particular area. They will put the word out, and anybody that, they'll say, hey, anybody have a house for sale? We will get it. Most of the time, you're able to sell it for well above market, even though our market continues to appreciate every year. So, but we don't have those dangerous fluctuations there that can put people at risk. My advice on this, just for anybody who cares, and the opportunities that I see, looking at those things, and then we put together some other businesses. Well, shortly after that I started the Christmas light business, and I was able to, because there were a lot of Christmas light companies out there doing a lot of business, but I was able to come in at a lower price and bid lower, and people still wanted the Christmas lights, right? But they were, everybody was having a hard time. And Christmas lights is another one of those things that, well, people want it, but they don't really need it, so they're paying for Christmas lights with extra money. You have to. The opportunities that are coming up are going to be a couple of places. There's always a market among the people with extra money who don't care. They're making the money. They're going to pay whatever it is. Inflation, a 10% inflation is not going to hurt them. Other people, 10% inflation is going to hurt them a lot. And they're either going to try to find what they have done before at a cheaper price, or they're going to give it up completely. And so I was able to come in, and I undercut a lot of prices because I was doing it myself, and these other companies were using big crews, and it was tough. But, I did it, and since then we've built a very, very nice business out of that. A business that's being built into a multi-generational business for the children and their children, hopefully. But we keep those. We're very, very. We fight. We now concentrate on. We've moved up and concentrating on the very upper level. Okay, the people that don't care. They're not affected by inflation, while still serving the people who are on the lower levels. But we keep their prices down so they can. So those are two opportunities. If we hit a crash here, my whole point is this: if we hit a crash, it's going to be full of opportunities, because a lot of companies who are providing goods and services now and are used to making a lot of money, and you have to spend money to make money. The more money you want to make, the more you have to spend on crews or workforce or all sorts of things. And a lot of them are going to be, they're going to get it, they're going to leave the business, lose the business, or one way or another not going to be in the business in the future. This creates a lot of opportunities for people to come in an entryway to those areas. And if you're one of those, if you're one that says, I'd like, I want another income stream, which is always wise. Just because a crash knocks the big boys out doesn't mean. See, what that does is that provides opportunity for the little guy to get in there, and then build, and then be careful. Okay, I pretty much built ours so that we're not going to be, we're not going to have any problems, whatever happens with this economy. And you just learn that. But all these opportunities are going to be there for people who want them. That's my opinion. Okay, I'm not going to be like the. On the other hand, but no, they're always there. Opportunities are always there, and as I've always said, if you can do and are willing to do what other people can't do, don't want to do, or are afraid to do, you will always have business. You will always have a way to make money, and you'll always have a way to build that to whatever extent you want to. One of the best businesses right now, and it's going to be even better, is handyman businesses. really. I mean, if you can fix stuff, come into my neighborhood. You'll never leave. You will work as many hours a day as you want to. You know, the only people in my neighborhood that do their own work is me and the guy down the street. You know, nobody around here does their own work, which creates opportunities for those who do want to do it. You know, because I mean, it's not that the people are lazy, but they already have jobs, right? They're not going to. I mean, they work a they're professionals or have own their own businesses, and they don't care about, nor do they have the time to replace their own windows. Okay, doesn't mean they're lazy. You know, I know a lot of people go, well, if they can't do this, they can't do that. What? No, no, man. I mean, they can do what they do, and they do it very well. And as a result, they've earned a lot of money, and they're going to pay somebody to replace their windows, right? That's how economies work. And so, anybody who's looking for something like that, and you know, you may say, I don't want to do that myself. Well, do you know a couple of guys who know how to do it? You know, you can start a little business there. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to say, simply because this all rolled off of this whoever this financial guy was talking about, Johnny Morris, and you'll be able to increase. Here's why owning a business is so much better than having a job. It doesn't have the same security. You know, you are responsible for everything, but you can build inflation into your prices. That's the thing. And if you are serving a strata of customer who is going to continue to buy your services, no matter what happens with the economy, because they can, okay, because they've already set themselves up financially that they can, you're not going to be hurt either. You simply build, if inflation goes up 10%, you raise your prices 10%. See, it doesn't hurt you at all. And that was also the lesson out of Johnny Morris. When I noticed over the years, he was I won't say inflating. He was increasing the prices on like menu items and other things for the top layer of people, while trying to keep the prices for the lower level down so that it could be affordable. He didn't want to lose customer base, right? So which is good business. Okay, I just thought I'd share that with you all. I'm going to get back in and do some things. It's a beautiful day. About to have my breakfast. Don't forget, get registered for the upcoming gathering in July. I'm looking forward to that. I know a lot of you all here on the Patreon channel are coming. Look forward to seeing you. And as always, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And preparation, as most of you know, your financial preparedness is so important. So I hope that you're doing something. All right. You all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.